While mountain biking is my go-to type of bike riding, I also do quite a bit of gravel riding. On more than one recent ride, I've noticed my left thumb reaching for a non-existent dropper post lever. I actually do the same thing with the shifter lever on a single speed, but after my first few rides, I don't reflexively reach for it anymore. That doesn't seem to be the case with the dropper posts, and I think it's because it completely changes the way I approach steeper downhill sections. These posts are starting to pop up in the gravel world more and more, but I feel like they're still seen as a gimmicky marketing trick. After months of reaching for a lever that's not there though, I've started to wonder, should every type of bike, from mountain all the way to even road bikes, have a dropper post? Let's get into it. Really quick before I get started, I just want to say that over 90% of my viewers aren't subscribed. So if this isn't your first time seeing one of my videos and you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. If it is your first time and you like what you see, be sure to subscribe so you see more of my videos in the future. Now on to the dropper post talk. I don't remember when I first got a dropper post, but I do remember thinking it wasn't the game changer I had been told it was. I remember reading articles saying they were the biggest innovation since the suspension fork. I'd use it every now and then, but unless it was basically pointing straight down and super chunky, I just didn't see the point. Oh, how wrong I was. If you don't know what a dropper post is, it's a special seat post that has a lever attached to it. If you press the lever while putting pressure on the seat, it'll drop down. You can then let go of the lever and the seat will stay down out of the way, and when you want it back up, simply push the lever again and the seat will shoot back up. While you could do this manually with a quick release lever, you can't really do it without stopping, and good luck getting your seat back to its original height. But why do you need to lower your seat anyway? Well, once your seat is out of the way, you could get your body lower more easily so that you don't go over the bars on a steep descent. While that's nice, the thing that's most beneficial in my opinion is that even if it's not ultra steep, you're able to move the bike around more easily, so switchbacks, turns, and technical terrain are a lot easier to maneuver through. When I first started using a dropper post, I understood that steep part pretty well, but not so much the other part. It took me a few weeks of regular use before I started to get it, and soon enough my riding style had changed. Instead of steering with the bars alone through these turns and technical sections, I learned to lean and pivot and move the bike through it. My riding technique has completely changed, and it means I'm able to ride much more difficult obstacles than I was before. Does that mean I can't ride stuff with a rigid seat post? Of course not, but I'm significantly slower and much more picky on the line I take. Mountain biking is probably the most obvious application for a dropper post, but like I said at the beginning, I think it has its place in other disciplines like gravel and road biking as well. It doesn't take much imagination to see how it'd be useful in gravel. It's especially true when thinking about the more adventurous side of that sport, where you never really know what you might encounter on that old mining road or that faded double track. You're not usually encountering things as steep or techy as you would on a mountain bike, but you also have to consider the bike that you're riding. Gravel bike geometry tends to put you in a more forward position, which, paired with a steeper head tube angle and shorter reach, makes it better for flats and climbs than steep descents. No matter the bike, as soon as you venture to the edge of its intended design, things are going to start to feel super sketchy and basically out of control. What I mean by that is that a descent down a 15% grade on a washboarded dirt road on a gravel bike will probably feel just as difficult as bombing down a black diamond trail on your enduro bike. Descending is descending, and being able to move the bike around freely and adjust your center of gravity makes a huge difference in your handling and control. Luckily for you and everyone else out there, I'm not the only one that understands this, and you can get a dropper from the factory on bikes like the Canyon Grizzle and the Specialized Diverge. Gravel's a weird middle ground between road and mountain biking, so it doesn't totally surprise me that there isn't too much pushback here. Like I said, the mountain bike side was obvious, and maybe I've even convinced you it's helpful on the gravel side of things, but when it comes to road bikes, come on, really? The answer here is absolutely yes, and let me explain why. First off, I don't ride on the road, but I did commute and ride recreationally on the road for more than 5 years while I was living in Utah. Most of the time I'd be down in the valley where it was generally flat or gently rolling, and a dropper post wouldn't be useful at all. But when I wanted to actually have some fun, I'd head to the foothills or a nearby canyon and have some type 2 fun on a steep switchbacky climb. After eventually reaching the top, I'd take in the view and then turn around for the descent. While a road descent is always more fun than the climb, it can also be pretty terrifying. Not only are you maintaining speeds higher than you would on a mountain bike, you're also on a route that's shared with cars. I don't know about you, but I like living, so I'd love to have as much control as possible in that situation. So, besides better brakes or tires or improved bike handling skills, what could you really do to improve your descending? How about getting the saddle out of the way so you can get lower and move the bike around? Gravel bike geometry is typically more relaxed than road bike geometry, so if you think your weight is far forward on a gravel bike, just wait until you try out a real road bike. Even something as small as 50 millimeters of drop can make a noticeable difference in how you approach a descent on a road bike. More might be better, of course, but due to road bike design, it can't be a lot of drop since there's only so much seat post exposed. The amount of drop aside, the main reason you won't see road bikes with dropper posts, aside from nobody manufacturing them, is due to weight. The majority of road bikes out there are really road racing bikes, and as soon as you hear racing, you better start thinking about those grams. A dropper post will always weigh more than a rigid one, and since we for some reason think weight is the be-all end-all of bike metrics, they're going to be a rare sight on a road bike. But maybe that's changing faster than I think. There was a major road race won this year by someone with a dropper post who put it to good use when he attacked on a critical descent. So at some point, the weight penalty of a dropper post must be beat out by the benefits of having your saddle out of the way, right? Dropper seat posts have been around in one form or another for several decades, but the technology of the last decade has made them mainstream and a viable option for most riders out there. The mountain bike world has embraced them, gravel has dipped their toes in the water, and road cyclists still seem to think they're made by Satan himself. To me, it's like disc brakes though. Mountain biking went all in, and other disciplines, including road biking, followed, even if it took a decade or two. You might think they're dumb or not really understand the benefit at first, but like I found with droppers, if you really give them a chance, eventually you can't live without it. Let me know your thoughts on dropper posts down in the comments. Do you use them, and if so, what kind of riding do you like it for? I'm currently gravel bikeless, but whatever I get next will probably have a dropper on it. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and be sure to share it with your friends who think dropper posts are stupid. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.